G'day guys. Some Game Boy Color games were backwards compatible with the original Game Boy, occasionally with certain features disabled, like in Link's Awakening DX, where the Color Dungeon checks if you are playing on a Game Boy Color, and if not, it will not let you in. When playing these games on handhelds like the GB300 or SF2000, they default to booting up in Game Boy Color mode with no way to change it. Simply renaming the ROM to .gb instead of .gbc doesn't help, since it checks the header from inside the ROM. To force it into Game Boy mode, we will modify the header information inside the ROM using the best Windows Game Boy emulator and debugger, BGB. In Chrome, we're just going to type in BGB space download, and the top result, BGB Game Boy emulator. Click on download below, and the top link, BGB version 1.64 at the time of making this video. Once it's finished downloading, we can close off Chrome, go to our downloads folder, we want to extract it, and open up the folder. To run the program, simply double click on it. For this test, we'll be using Pokemon Gold. Right click anywhere inside BGB and go load ROM. Navigate to your Game Boy Color ROM and double click. And we want to right click anywhere in BGB and go down to debugger. If you're using an older version of BGB, debugger is listed under other. Inside the debugger, we want to scroll down to 0143. You can see the address on the left hand side. You just want to scroll down. When you get to 143, if it's a Game Boy Color DMG Dual Mode game, it'll have 80. To force it into Game Boy Classic mode, while that line's selected, type in 00 and press enter, and you should see the line change from DMG Game Boy Color to just DMG Classic Game Boy. That's the only change we need to make. We can now go File, Save ROM As, click Yes to correct the checksum, and we want to give it a new name. I'm going to call it Pokemon Gold GB. Click Save, and we can close this off. We can close off BGB. That's all there is to it. We'll copy it back over to my GB300 and see if it goes into black and white Game Boy mode. It looks like it's worked. The entire game is now in black and white. Unfortunately, you cannot make Game Boy games use the color palette on these handhelds. Even if you change the header information to 80, which is Game Boy and Game Boy Color dual mode, the palettes will all be messed up and most of the game will be invisible. I think that'll do it for today. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.